Okay, good morning. Let's try this again, another one. I just thought I made a video a second ago, it didn't work. We left off at working girls here, so let's take a look at this. Maybe a 10-minute video, keep my eye on the clock. 7, yeah, okay. The spinning wheel was a fixture in most homes, and spinning well was a skill of hand and eye. Girls learned after long hours of practice to carefully feed the fibers that were twisted into thread by the swiftly turning spindle. It was long, drawn-out, boring work. One New Hampshire woman later wrote that the moaning of the big wheel was the saddest sound of my childhood. Weaving was another common task for women. In rural areas, people often used woven cloth like money to exchange for other household goods. Barter. They didn't have the cash, used that. After cloth was woven, it had to be cut and sewn to make clothes. That was also a long and difficult task. I have about 2 months of sewing to do, wrote a North Carolina planter's wife. I have never been so tired of sewing in my life. My fingers are worn out. Skill with a needle and a lifetime of sewing went hand in hand with womanhood. But all the wealthiest women cut and sewed the family's clothes. All but the wealthiest. Okay, sorry. In the dairy, usually a corner of the kitchen, girls learned the process of transformation. Under their hands, milk took on a solid shape, powerful flavors and stronger life in the form of butter and cheese. Butter was churned for more than an hour. That was hard work. The butter churn, yeah, that thing for an hour. Can you imagine doing that for an hour to make butter? Forget it. I'll eat my toast dry. Pressing cheese also required strenuous effort. Laundry day came anywhere from once a week to once a month. In my house, laundry 24/7. It's going all the time. Women would wake long before sunrise to scrub and pound the clothes. They would plunge their arms up to their elbows in tubs of near-boiling water and soft soap. The woman would emerge in the afternoon with bleached and parboiled fingers and short tempers. Yeah, it was a good day for the youngest children to stay away from the house. Dueling and gouging. You're going to see a video on Alexander Hamilton Burr duel. During the Revolutionary War, many American military officers learned about dueling from the French and the British. When the war was over, they introduced the custom into civilian life. After Aaron Burr killed Alexander Hamilton in a duel in New Jersey in 1804, the shock and outrage ended dueling in the Middle Atlantic states. But it remained very popular in the South, where wealthy gentlemen placed great importance on skill with weapons and personal honor. Dueling sites were usually set up on the outskirts of towns. Some were used several times a day. If the man was slighted or insulted by a social equal, he would send a note to the offender demanding an explanation. You're going to see this in the movie too. Back and forth, give and take of these notes going back and forth. Well, sir, you don't seem to understand. Demanding apology, not getting it. If the man refused to explain or apologize, the process of arranging a duel was set into motion. Seconds, or assistants, would be chosen, a doctor called, and a referee selected to supervise the duel. All of this was done with great politeness. There was even a book published on dueling etiquette. Some even had their own personal dueling guns made. Dueling was not always bloodthirsty, though. Most duels never got beyond the talking stages. Sorry, just checking my time. Seconds tried hard to smooth over the arguments. If that didn't work, the duel would go forward. Then the two parties would stand apart at a fixed distance and shoot when the signal was given. Only 1 out of 7 duels ended in death or serious injury. The display of courage was the most important aspect of the duel, not the opponent's death. Often the duelist deliberately shot wide of the mark. A wounded duelist often forgave his opponent, and a man who killed often wept for his victim, except Hamilton and Burr. Oh, yeah, you'll see it. The poorer farmers in the South fought less gentlemanly battles. Wait a minute, before I get on this, let me go back to the dueling. Most of the time the duel, just agreeing to a duel, okay, I'll meet you on the dueling grounds. That was enough. You kept up your honor, you kept your end of the bargain. A lot of times they went to the dueling grounds, just looked at each other, said, okay, you kept your end of the bargain, we're done. Sometimes they would draw and purposely shoot, bang, way away from the other person. I kept my end of the bargain. It's a matter of honor. Well, that didn't happen in the Aaron Burr duel. Andrew Jackson, wait till we get to our president, the 7th president, Andrew Jackson. He was involved in some duels, but he went all the way. It was always a matter of honor with him also, but he usually shot. Now we're getting into the gouging, the Ew. The poorer farmers in the South fought less gentlemanly battles. Whenever these people came to blows, wrote one reporter, they fight like wild beasts, biting, kicking, and trying to tear each other's eyes out with their nails. Rough and tumble fighting was the specialty of Mississippi River boatmen, frontier farmers, and hunters. Among them it was not uncommon, wrote the same reporter, to meet with those who have lost an eye in combat. Ugh. And there are men who pride themselves upon the dexterity with which they can scoop one out, like their eye. This is called gouging. Pleasant, huh? Yeah. Part 2. I got enough time to start part 2 here. When the work's done, the chores are finished, now it's time for fun. Forget about listening to records or going to the movies or your iPods or video games or Wii or whatever. They were invented, well, records and movies were invented by Thomas Edison. The other stuff, God only knows. In the 1800s, his parents aren't even born yet. There's no tennis or basketball, and you need a horse, not special shoes for jogging. So what else was there to do? Check my time. Football is played by young boys and occasionally by girls, but the game is totally unlike the 20th century football or the 21st century. Here you simply toss around an inflated animal bladder or a leather ball filled with sawdust, just chucking around this ball. I mean, yeah. Boys enjoyed old four-cat and town ball, 2 forerunners of baseball. They are both four-base games played with batters, pitchers, and catchers. Players use a stick, an axe handle, or a thick paddle for a bat. Balls are made by inserting a bullet into a piece of cork, make it heavier, or you can wrap wool yarn and string around a metal slug. The ball is then stitched together to prevent it from unraveling. People who can read enjoy uplifting stories, romantic poetry, or adventure tales. One farmer's sons seem typical, and not all that different from 20th century boys. They spend their candlelight hours, he says, reading books and hunting and shooting and about horses and dogs. Not too different than what it is now. I might have another video to finish this up. It's kind of interesting. There is like a myth buster in there. If I have time, yes I do. Baseball was not, N-O-T, invented by Abner Doubleday. Abner Doubleday was a Civil War soldier. His name got connected to baseball. You can even see it sometimes in Civil War battlefields, a plaque about Abner Doubleday saying, General Abner Doubleday, inventor of baseball. No, he had nothing to do with it. I don't know how that got attached. I do kind of. But he went to the same university where baseball rules were laid out, and somehow his name got attached to that. But nope. All right, we'll come back to this later. It's pretty cool stuff. I think I'm done. Thank you.